It plans to set aside testaments of installment accessible on the blockchain. Yet what is Hex? We should find out what we can figure it out and investigate a portion of the Hex Cost Forecasts that were being made starting around the 9th of September 2022. What is a Hex coin? Hex was sent off in December 2019 by Richard Schuler, otherwise called Richard Hart. Hart is a sequential business visionary, creator, YouTube character, humanitarian, and the pioneer behind the Pulse Chain organization, for which he raised more than $27M for clinical exploration. As per Hex's true site, the task is intended to turn into the principal authentication of store in the cryptographic money world. In customary banking, a DISC is an item that yields a return marginally higher than the typical investment account for the client after the client consents to secure the contributed assets for a proper period. A Hex DISC works similarly as in customary banking since it pays a revisitation of financial backers who choose to secure their Hex property for a set time of 1 day to quite a while. Hex professes to follow a proof of pause convention that doesn't need the support of excavators. All things considered, financial backers mint new coins for holding Hex during the settled on holding time frame. When the holding time frame reaches a conclusion, the Hex Brilliant Agreement is intended to make new coins to take care of the holder, who then turns into an excavator in this specific environment. Hex is a second-layer application based on top of the Ethereum organization and fueled by a brilliant agreement that directs how tokens are stamped and conveyed to financial backers. Hex Major Investigation. There are some gamble variables to consider while assessing the future assumptions for Hex digital currency. Scam contention. Hex tended to charges of being a trick or even a Ponzi conspire in a unique trick segment on its site. In any case, the degree of debate is high, and we propose you lead an extremely exhaustive examination prior to making your own Hex crypto cost forecast. Availability. Hex crypto is accessible on around 20 trades. However, it isn't recorded on any of the world's biggest digital currency trades. It merits thinking about this variable, as more modest trades will quite often be higher focuses for hacking assaults. The project depends fundamentally on its believability. Assuming the task loses believability, the cost of Hex can implode. The justification for this is that an enormous volume of tokens would need to be given to take care of current DISC holders. This would build the symbolic stock decisively, which would bring about a cost drop as the whole among organic market would be very high. Expert Mikhail Karkalev. The Hex undertaking is a legitimate continuation of the improvement of the DeFi area in the crypto market. He said, the longing to dispose of the agent as the financial framework is advancing, following the capacity to make cross-line P2P exchanges and to take credits got by digital currencies. Presently, we have the likelihood to open stores at exorbitant loan costs without being engaged with Ponzi plans. This is to be sure advancement, and I would try and agree that an upset in the financial framework, dissimilar to a bank, which offers somewhat higher loan costs on time stores than standard stores that scarcely cover expansion. DeFi projects like Hex proposition the chance to procure more without being a go-between and benefit creator like a bank, Karkalev added. All in all, that's what Karkalev said, marking is quite possibly of the most productive interest in the digital money market today. Yet it likewise features the need of considering the dangers of hacks, savvy contract mistakes, and leave tricks. Hex cost history. Presently, we should project our eyes over a short rendition of the Hex cost history. While past execution ought to never be taken as a sign of future outcomes, understanding what Hex has done in the past can assist with giving us some unique circumstance to either decipher a Hex cost expectation or probably make one of our own. At the point when Hex went onto the open market in late 2019, it was worth around $0. It floated around that level for the next year or somewhere in the vicinity. However, the market turning bullish in mid-2021 saw the symbolic worth develop to more than 6 cents toward the beginning of May. While there was something of a slump from that point forward, Hex opposed the market by developing all through the late spring, getting through the 10 cents boundary in July and moving upwards to a high of somewhat more than 48 cents on the 18th of September. From that point forward, another slump was switched when it hit an unequaled high of 55 cents on the 16th of November, before it at last tumbled to close the year at 28 cents. Up to this point, 2022 has been an unfortunate year for both Hex and the generally speaking crypto market. The token has shown a prominent downfall, with the nadir arriving in a low of 2 cents on the 18th of June. From that point forward, there has been some sluggish, ending, recuperation, and, on the 9th of September 2022, the symbolic cost remained at around 4 cents. Around then, there were 173.41 billion Hex available for use out of a complete stock of somewhat over 633.5 billion. This gave the token a market cap of around $6.9 billion, making it the 201st biggest crypto by that measurement. Hex cost forecasts. With that all said and done, we should investigate a portion of the Hex cost forecasts that were being made starting around the 9th of September 2022. It is critical to take note of that cost estimates, particularly for something as possibly unstable as digital currency, are regularly off base. Additionally, it is essential to recollect that long-haul crypto value forecasts are in many cases made utilizing a calculation, and that implies that they can change whenever. To start with, was fairly bleak as far as its transient Hex crypto cost forecast, recommending the token could drop to 2 cents in November 2022, proceeding recuperating to some degree to 6 cents in September 2023. The site then, at that point, proceeded to make a Hex cost expectation for 2025 that saw it possibly reach 10 cents. In any case, the downbeat evaluation then, at that point, returned, with the site recommending the coin might have fallen into obscurity by 2027, turning out to be actually useless. Indeed, even when the site made a Hex cost expectation for 2040, there was still no indication of recuperating, implying that it figured Hex could be a dead coin. Then, was more hopeful as far as its Hex coin cost forecast, saying it could shoot up to remain at around 16 cents this prior year, coming to 29 cents in 2023. In 2024, the site said, the token could remain at somewhat more than 48 cents, before conceivably coming to 77 cents in 2025. How far you trust this forecast will rely upon whether you think, in the wake of doing all necessary investigation, that Hex can develop by over 300% before the year's over and by over 1,800% throughout the span of the following 40 months or somewhere in the vicinity. In the meantime, had a positive conjecture, recommending that the token could reach 5 cents in 2022, 8 cents in 2023, and 12 cents in 2024. By 2025, the site contended that the crypto could be valued at 18 cents, prior to proceeding with its ascent throughout the years to conceivably close the 10 years at around 78 cents. The site then, at that point, made a Hex cost expectation for 2030 that demonstrated the token could get through the dollar boundary to remain at $1.16, prior to coming to $1.72 the next year. At last, Gov Capital had an undeniably more downbeat and negative take in its Hex cost expectation for 2022. The site figured it could ascend to 8 cents by the 2nd of October, before it possibly falls to turn out to be successfully useless starting around the 18th of October. There is, notwithstanding, some better information ahead, as the site believed that it could recuperate to exchange at around 48 cents on the 9th of September 2023 and somewhere close to $2.60 and $2.61 in 5 years' time. While considering a Hex symbolic cost forecast, it's vital to remember that digital money markets remain very unstable, making it challenging to precisely foresee what a coin or token's cost will be in a couple of hours, and, surprisingly, harder to give long-haul gauges. In that capacity, experts and calculation-based forecasters can and do misunderstand their expectations. Assuming you are thinking about putting resources into digital currency tokens, we suggest that you generally do your own examination. Take a gander at the most recent market patterns, news, specialized and basic examination, and well-qualified assessment prior to settling on any speculation choice. Remember that previous exhibition is no assurance of future